here are your hosts of Financially Tuned, Mark Fricks and Tony Shore.
Welcome to another show of Financially Tuned with me, Mark Fricks from MasterPlan Retirement Consultants, and our host today, Tony Shore. You know, we're really excited that you've joined us today because in this show, we're going to be discussing key issues to address before retirement and ways to prepare for them. You know, when facing retirement, it's really important to have a retirement plan laid out to help make your transition from employment to retirement a really smooth one.
Well, that's a great point, Mark, and this sounds like a great show. I'm happy to be back here again with you today. So, Mark Fricks, how have you been?
Oh, Tony, thanks for asking. It's been a great week. You know, we're really touching a lot of lives, and you know, our passion is helping folks prepare for and make it through retirement. So as we meet with new folks that come in to see us and chat, that's my favorite part. And we've just had a lot of folks coming in, some because of the radio show, some because of the classes that we're teaching throughout the Atlanta and actually North Georgia area now. So it's been a great few weeks.
Well, that's excellent. You know, I'm really looking forward to talking today about the key issues that people need to address before retirement. I think there's a lot of information to take into consideration before that happens, especially now that people's life expectancies are longer, people are living longer and longer, and that really results in wanting to make sure that they don't outlive their retirement income. Because we're living so much longer, you might need income that could last you 20 or 30 years possibly in retirement. And so to take that into account, you really have to strategize and plan, don't you?
Oh, you're exactly right, Tony. And I think that's why what we do is so valuable. You know, when my grandparents were retiring, you know, they retired at age 65 and really within a couple of years, they had passed away. And, you know, today we know from studies that have been done that actually back in 1900, if you want to take that example first, the life expectancy in the United States was 49 years old. And today it's 78 years old. And you know, even that's a little bit off because that takes into account everyone. And when I mean that, I mean that if you take away the lower class, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but if you did not count their life expectancy because of health issues and poor lifestyles, then you actually are looking up into the mid-80s, and then you start looking at female life expectancy, and now you're into the upper 80s. So we're really dealing with a new risk, and we call that risk longevity risk, and that's something that we've got to plan for. Now, the good news is you know, we are living longer, and we've got more medical advances, and if you look at what's on the horizon, you know, we may be extending that life expectancy even more in the coming years. But the bad news, Tony, is that, you know, that means we need a reliable income source that can last a lifetime, maybe even 30 years or more. So whatever your retirement dream, the last thing you want to worry about is outliving your money.
Well, you know what, Mark? Retiring is a source of concern, I think, for a lot of people. And the fact that we're living longer and longer calls for a fundamental shift in the way we really should plan for our retirement. Are there ways that people can prepare for a quality retirement?
Well, really, Tony, when you think about it, the quality of one's retirement really may be contingent upon their retirement plan's ability to really be able to leverage their assets so they can generate a lifetime income stream, really, is what it comes down to. Now, there are a variety of financial vehicles that can be utilized to help people accomplish this. And basically reduce the risk of outliving your savings or, you know, being forced to face significant reductions in your standard of living. But really, when it comes down to it, it comes down to proper planning. You know, one of the things we talk a lot about, Tony, is the retirement roadmap. And, you know, when we tell this story, I've not told it on the radio lately, so let me just share it with our listeners real quickly. If let's say you wanted to take a ride and you wanted to drive from the East Coast to the West Coast. So you're on the East Coast, maybe you're in New York or you're in Atlanta, somewhere like that, and you just get in your car and you just start driving west. You know, my question to people, you know, will you reach California? Or, you know, and the answer is probably so. You'll probably get there. You'll probably bump into it. But really, that's not the best way to get to California. If we were going to get there, we would actually have a plan. We'd have a roadmap. We'd have contingency plans. We'd have plans of where to stay and what to drive and what happens if we break down and what happens if we lose our credit. All of that comes into play. Yet when it comes to our retirement, we don't have that kind of a plan. We just kind of drive west. We just kind of put some money away and we hope for the best. And maybe we buy a little life insurance and put some money in a 401k, but we don't have a plan. And I think it dawns on people when they reach the age of, 55 to 60, they kind of look at each other and they go, wow, where are we going and how are we going to get there? And that's when folks really flock to see us, so to speak. And we really sit down and design that roadmap that will get them to where they want to be.
I think that's great. Now, a lot goes into planning for retirement, and that can lead to potential mistakes. Mark, do you have information that you give to clients and people that you meet with to help them avoid potential mistakes?
Yeah, there's several things that folks need to do when you're planning for retirement. So a couple of them I'll mention. First of all, you certainly want to take advantage of any kind of retirement plan that your employer is offering, especially if they're matching. So if you have a 401k at work or a 403b, make sure you contribute, at least what they're matching. Now, I don't like to contribute more than that, and there's a lot of reasons why that we won't get into today. But if they match 4% of what you put in 4%, and that's free money. So that's a big thing, a big step to take. The other thing is having sources of guaranteed income for the future. We've got Social Security in most cases, and that's a guaranteed income stream, but for most folks, that's not enough income, so there's a gap. So if your company has a pension, then certainly that's something you want to make sure that is in your future. But if you don't have a pension, you need to look at what other income sources will give you a paycheck every month for the rest of your life. Something else you want to look at is start the process now. Don't put this off. Start investing now, even if it's $25 a month. Start now. If you're 25 years old or if you're 55 years old, and have it come out of your checking account automatically so you don't see it. And that way you won't spend it. And so get that process started. Something else that you need to avoid is taking money out of your retirement account, whether it be borrowing from it or just taking withdrawals. It's very easy to use sometimes our IRAs and 401ks as an emergency fund, and they do not need to be treated like that. Not only are you taking steps backwards, but you're also possibly paying some tax penalties and there'll be some other consequences as well. So that's not a good thing to do. And finally, I think another good point is, if you're not performing annual reviews on your portfolios, it's kind of easy to put money in a 401k or in a brokerage account or an IRA and just kind of leave it alone. And that's kind of good, but at the same time, if it's in the market, if you're in mutual funds or stocks or bonds or ETFs, those need to be adjusted. And whether it's on an annual basis or quarterly or whatever, those need to be looked at. And, again, I would recommend getting a professional to help you with that.
Well, Mark, those are all great points to be aware of. And I appreciated hearing about the importance of starting the process sooner rather than later. Now, this is something we always kind of harp on that point here on the show, Mark. There's no time like the present. People like to put off these types of things or planning or thinking about retirement, but you really need to get a plan in process. I mean, I'm not at retirement age yet, Mark, but I get the importance of preparing now so I can have a comfortable retirement later. Are there any other mistakes that we should know about in order to avoid them?
Well, just four more that we'll share real quickly. First of all, not understanding the tax consequences of investments. Sometimes we can lose more money because of a tax situation than maybe not having the right mutual fund. Also, again, if you take money out of an IRA too soon, that's certainly a mistake, as we mentioned earlier. Also, if you wait too late to take money out of an IRA or 401k, you must start taking money out at age 70, or there's a 50% penalty for what you failed to take out. A third item real quickly is not doing an audit of your beneficiaries. So you need to go back through and make sure you have a beneficiary set up correctly. And again, that probably would require some help, mostly because if you don't set up IRA beneficiaries correctly, they could be taxable as soon as you pass away, and that would certainly be a big blow to an IRA. And finally, I think the big mistake in my book is not seeking help. I mean, why would you not get help on probably the most critical decisions for the last third of your life? So, get a hold of somebody that can help you out in this area.
Well, I think that's great advice. Now, our time is up for this portion of the show. Mark, do you have anything else that you'd like to share with us before we take a quick commercial break?
Well, Tony, I'm sure some of the things we've talked about has rung a bell with some of our listeners. So if you feel like some of these areas or something you need help with or just want to chat with someone about, you can give our office a call at 770-980-9262 or visit our website at MasterPlanYourRetirement.com. A lot of good tools on the website and a lot of good training videos, educational videos. So visit there, and I think you'll be glad you did.
All right, well, we're going to be right back with more from Mark Fricks on how to prepare for retirement right here on Financially Tuned after this.
To hear the rest of the show or for more information, go to MasterPlanYourRetirement.com or call Mark at 770-980-9262 to schedule an appointment.